Well, good morning and welcome to a very busy but also a windy day here at Overdevest Nurseries. And here on this wagon we've gathered together a little selection of some of the plants that we thought you might like us to feature, ones that I hope that you'll get a chance to consider growing in and around your home. Lots of really good plants, and I'd also like to invite you to subscribe to this channel because we're busy posting new videos all the time. And if you're a subscriber, you'll find that as we post new videos, they will turn up automatically in your feed. Now here on the nursery we grow lots of trees, evergreens, shrubs, vines, grasses, ornamental plants of all description, including some edible plants too. But of course, one of the most popular categories of plants in garden centers is perennials. And when you've got varieties of a native species, then that is even better. And this, of course, is a fantastic variety, a selection of a native species that is particularly tough and hardy and reliable. It is, of course, Penstemon Husker Red, selected as the perennial plant of the year in 1996. Here's a plant that brings with it all the hardiness of a species that grows from eastern Canada down to Virginia. Brings with it the reliability of a species that grows in prairies, in open woodland, that grows on the sides of railway tracks and roads, and with it then also brings nice flowers that appear now through these little buds that when they open up have white tubular flowers that look a little bit like a foxglove, which is why sometimes it's called the foxglove Beardtongue. That's its common name. But this particular variety, as you see, is really terrific in that it also has this wonderful, long-lasting and very colorful foliage. Colorful foliage that, if it never flowered, definitely deserves a place in the garden. Now this is a plant that only gets to about 2 or possibly 3 foot high, produces these strong, sturdy stems, and as I mentioned earlier, these really beautiful, very colorful leaves that are really, every time it's got new growth on it, showing up with lots of color. You'll see that in the early part of the season it's particularly vibrant, and then as it goes through and the foliage ages and we get towards summertime, it will start taking on a little bit more green into the foliage, sometimes taking on this very nice kind of veining in the leaves, and eventually going through to a kind of dark green with a bronzish tint through the summertime. Really great plant for growing as a single specimen, wonderful for massing, can be put into native and naturalized areas, basically anywhere that's fairly open, that's sunny, or in partially shaded conditions, it will grow there too. But you'll find that when you're able to keep it out in a sunnier location, you'll get more intensity from the colorful leaves. When it's in shadier conditions, it tends to take on more of a greenish shade. Quite fine, but you'll get better color when it's out in sunlight. Essentially, a really tough zone 3 plant that will grow anywhere throughout our region, and is just a reliable plant that isn't really bothered by any pests and diseases. Deer normally leave it alone, and so do rabbits too. So you're getting some idea of why this is really such an important selection. Developed in 1983 at the University of Nebraska by Dale Lindgarden, it was called Husker Red because, of course, the university's nickname is the Cornhuskers, and the colors of the school happened to be a maroon red too. So that's where they came up with the name of Husker Red. So tough, hardy, reliable, very easy to grow. It will flower, as you see now it's starting to make these little buds. It will carry little finger-like or finger glove-like flowers at the tips of it, which is carried in early summer, and they're quite nice. There's nothing wrong with them. Hummingbirds and bees and butterflies like to visit them, but really I have to say that it's the colorful foliage that it's grown for. If you remember, after it finishes flowering, you can go in and trim back the stems. That will help to encourage new fresh growth from the base, but it'll also help to build it up into a nice big strong bulky clump. And incidentally, it's probably a good idea to divide it about every 3rd or 4th year too. You can do that in early spring or in the fall. So really, in summary, a tough, hardy, native variety that has wonderful colored foliage that will grow in all sorts of locations throughout your garden as long as it's not wet and reasonably sunny. This is really a fantastic, reliable, easy to grow and very colorful native variety. It's Penstemon Husker Red.